Good evening. I'm going to take you through a nice yoga practice to create lots of space in your body, de-stress the mind, the body and the spirit. So listen to all options, and if at any point you need to take a break, just sit down on your mat, find your center, connect to your breath and rejoin the practice whenever you want. So to begin the practice, we're going to bring ourselves into child's pose. So bring the legs back behind, big toes touch, knees about the width of the mat, and stretch your arms forward. If you want to just look at me and then drop into the poses as we practice. So let the forehead melt down towards the mat, stretch the arms forward, letting the hips open, the ankles open and the shoulders. Big breath in and exhale, relax down, connect to the breath. Then the whole day just start to slip away. Or if you're doing this in the morning, welcoming your body slowly into the morning. When you're ready, bring your hands directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. You're going to round your spine into cat, chin to chest, tailbone to the earth, and then you're going to drop down into cow, pushing the tailbone to the sky and eye gaze up. Then take your time moving through these postures, allowing the skin to stretch in the back, spine to open, the belly muscles to be soft when you drop down, and the arms to remain strong. As you practice yoga, it makes the practice, for me, more beneficial and more powerful when I connect each movement to my breath. So try your best to sync and make it almost like a bit of a dance between breath and movement. Taking one more cat-cow. Finding a neutral spine, draw your navel in, bring your toes under, and then start to press back and up through the hips. Bend your knees, walking out your downward facing dog. Notice if the elbows start to collapse, lift up. If you need more space in your down dog, bring your hands forward and bend your knees. Walking out your dog, gently, gently, pressing the heels down towards the earth. You do not have to touch. And whenever you're ready, just land into the pose. Allow the spine to open, the head to get heavy, and to drop forward towards the earth. Take a deep breath in. On the next exhale, just lift the hips a little bit higher. You're going to walk your hands back to your ankles. So bend your knees and walk your hands back to your ankles. Breathe out and bring your chest closer towards your thighs. Let your head get heavy, and you should be looking back through the knees, not forward. So keep the neck safe. So crown the head down towards the ground. Soften your shoulders. Nod yes and nod no. Get rid of the tension out of the neck. Just let's hang here and breathe into the hamstrings and the calves, muscles of the lower legs. And if it feels good for your body, gently grasp the opposite elbow and start to sway mindfully from left to right. Slowing the body down, breath by breath, coming into the posture. Trying not to think of what's coming next and what you've just done. Just be here. On the next exhale, let your hands fall towards the ground. Look forward, bend your knees and walk your hands out. Lift your hips up and your heels down. Look forward in between your hands. Take a deep knee bend and step your right foot forward in between the hands. And if it doesn't land on its way back there, always encourage it, bring it forward. You're going to drop your back knee down, place your hands on your hips and slowly move your pelvis forward. Relaxing your shoulders. You can let your arms straight down by your sides if that feels better for you. On On the next exhale, bring yourself forward and slide your hips back, breathing into the back of the thigh. Let the crown of the head move forward. If you want a little bit more space, if this feels a little bit, this feels fine for me, but if you feel a little bit bound, take your back knee and just slide it back a little bit. It'll create more space. So this posture is known as half split or the Namaste, and it's very good for the hamstrings and the lower back and also the core. So draw your navel in to support your lower back in this flexed motion. Bring yourself forward, take your hands to the inside, and you're going to pivot into a wide-legged forward fold. Come to a flat back to lengthen your spine, breathe in. Now exhale, slowly come down. Draw your shoulder blades back and down your spine and allow your elbows to draw in. Start to energize your hands. Take a long breath in and you may notice that your breath will actually assist you in getting deeper into postures. Inhale to a flat back, lengthen your spine, take your eye gaze forward. Bend your knees. You're going to pivot now to the other side. Take your time, allowing the back knee to drop. If you need assistance, you can place your hands onto the front knee, allowing your hip flexor to open gradually. If you can though, squeeze your backside and slowly move your hips more forward. Option to relax the arms down by the side. You can soften your eye gaze, relaxing your jaw, and really focusing on the glute muscles. So you're not sinking in, so you're gently contracting and squeezing your backside muscles together to create space in the hips and also to protect the ligaments and the joints. You take your hands forward on the exhale, slide back, open into the hamstrings. If you want a little bit more space, take this knee back a little bit further. Do be aware that sometimes that can intensify the stretch. Roll forward, take your hand to the inside. You're going to lift the back knee and pivot again into a wide-legged forward fold. So elongate your spine forward, light on your fingertips. Draw the inner seams of your legs in towards each other so you're not collapsed down. So see the energy change between the legs. Light on the fingertips. Now exhale, let the crown of the head start to work its way towards the earth. It does not have to touch. Nod yes and no again and breathe out. Inhale to lengthen. You're going to pause here. Steady your eye gaze. Keep the strength in the legs. Keeping the inner seams drawn in. I just want to show you what happens when we don't. Can you see the energy change to the outer little toe edge? But when we pull into our inner seams, we're working on the muscles and the joints. Bend your knees and walk all the way towards the top edge of your mat, and you're going to step back into downward facing dog. Exhale and land into the pose, pushing your hips a little bit higher now, your chest more towards your thighs. Drop down onto the knees and slide into hero pose. Taking a breath in, sweep your arms up overhead. Take the right hand to the outer left knee and the other hand wrapped around the spine. You're coming into a soft spinal twist. Sometimes it's nice to close down the eyes as you practice yoga and keep all of your awareness inward, really focusing on where you're feeling this, how does it feel? Two arms sweep up overhead, deep breath in Okay, left hand to outer right knee, other hand sweeps around to the small of the back. Two arms back up overhead, big breath in, interlace your fingers, round your shoulder heads, drop your chin towards your chest and gently start to tug at the fingertips, open through the upper back muscles. Take your right arm across your body. Come into a nice shoulder stretch. Try not to have it really high so you're creating a bit of space so you can walk into the outer or the mid part of the shoulder muscle. Now the same arm grasp just below the elbow, guided up and over. The palm of the hand will go down the center of your spine and press the back of your head into the elbow to create an opening in your triceps, the back of your arm. You might feel this into the insertion of your shoulder and some into your back as well. And only if it feels good, start to add some gentle rocking motion from side to side. So flexing the spine from side to side. I love doing this. I'm quite bound in my shoulders, so this feels lovely to do. Then you can pause on the bend, so taking a couple of deep breaths in, and then on the exhale, press the back of the head back a little bit more, creating more space again. Again, if that's too intense, you can flex forward if this is a little bit too open for you at the moment. So practice, practice, practice. Two arms sweep up, then exhale, allow your breath to gently float your arms back down. Okay, now inhale, reach. Left hand drops down, right hand on left elbow, scoop it up and press the back of the head back. We're working on the opposite side now. And then just bringing in that gentle rocking motion whenever you're ready. If it doesn't feel good, just stop and pause and hold the pose. The same arm is going to sweep across the front of the body, not too close up towards the face, across the front of the chest. And then just release your arms down and roll the shoulders up, back and down. So up, back and down. Coming back to all fours whenever you're ready. Draw the navel in and start to sway like a snake. Taking your time now and maybe pause, and if there's any little sticky points, allowing the muscles to release off the bone. Keeping the spine long by taking the eye gaze slightly forward. So try not to let the neck hang down towards the ground. And we're going back to downward facing dog. Curl toes under, sit back, push hips high, and then exhale, land into the pose. Look forwards, take a nice knee bend, two knees bend, and then right foot steps forward. You're going to drop your back knee down and sweep your arms overhead now. Take a deep breath in, interlace your fingers, drop them down at the back of the head, open the elbows, and start to lead forward with the chest. Pushing down into the big toe and the heel with equal energy of the front foot And if the back knee is given out, just pop a blanket or a pillow underneath. Now take the left hand to the ground and the right hand up towards the sky, pivoting in towards the front knee. Option to keep the back knee down, or you can start to lift the back knee and press into the back heel. Top hand down, bending the two legs and then stepping back to downward facing dog. Exhale and empty the lungs. Look forward, take a deep knee bend, left foot this time steps in between the hands, and you gently drop your back knee. Take your time now, sweep your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, drop them at the base of the skull. Big breath out and slowly moving forward with your hips. Take the right hand down to the mat and you're going to pivot from the hip, through the ribs, through the neck, and look up, out or down. Option to keep the back knee down or start to lift and press back into the back leg. Allowing your pelvis now to drop down towards the ground as you get warmer, and reaching up and revolving through the ribs. Top hand comes down, take a deep breath in, downward facing dog. You're going to glide forward into a high plank, and then you're going to drop to your knees, coming into half chaturanga. So slowly bring your chest down, and on the exhale, flatten your feet, push your pubic bone down to the ground and peel your heart away from the mat. Eye gaze forward. Pushing down into your knees, lifting through the hips and sliding back into a child's pose. Coming back in through downward facing dog. Deep breath in, exhale, high plank. And take your time firming into the legs. The legs have got to stay strong. If these are weak, it's going to have a big impact on the back and on the shoulders. Drop down to the knees, but keep the hips level. Elbows in, triceps really active here, the back of the arms, all the way down. Toes flat, pubic bone in, squeeze the shoulder blades back and down into a baby cobra. If you'd like to explore by pushing down into the big toes and then pushing through your arms, this is upward facing dog. Bend your knees and slide back into child's pose. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward in between hands. Back heel down 45 degrees. Take your time coming all the way up into warrior two. So big hip opener, strong arms, front and back, glance down, and then squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other to open up the chest muscles. Now remember, you're going to lean in to the front leg, but don't let the upper body follow. So keep that back so that the muscles can work on opening and strengthening. Breathe out and settle into warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Now we're going to reverse our warrior. So front hand is going to extend towards the sky. As you reach forward, extend up and gently start to lift up off your ribs and fall back. Watch for the back knee collapsing, so lift the back knee and just hold here. Zip in your tummy muscles. Back to warrior two. Hands on your hips, curl your toes in, and then gently bring the heels in and the toes out. So take your time sitting back into goddess stance, taking the thumb and the index finger to touch, and just exhale, pinch your elbows in and settle. So this is a lovely mudra, a Janra mudra, and a mudra is a hand gesture. And this is a lovely way to keep your focus and your concentration. So when we come into poses that challenge us on a physical level, we tend to just lock in and connect fully with that. Whereas there's so much more going on. Connect more with your breath, and this will ease any sensation that you have going on, maybe in your thighs or your back or your bum muscles. Sweep your arms through the midline, take a deep breath in. Then exhale, open into warrior two towards the back edge of your mat. So a deep knee bend and a solid, strong back leg from hip to knee and knee to heel. Reach and breathe. Turn the palm of your hand, reach till you can't reach any further, and then reverse your warrior. So you're lifting up off your ribs, you're leaning back and relaxing your back arm. The strength is equal in each leg. Even though we're opening through the hips and this knee is quite deeply loaded and the muscles of the front leg are loaded, this leg has got to be strong. So push into your heel and breathe. Back to warrior two. Hands on your hips, toes turn into the midline, wide-legged forward fold. You're going to hold halfway here. Now, if this is too much on your lower back, bend your knees and put your hands down. And if you can hold this position, make sure you are very active through your tummy muscles. So draw your navel in and bring some body weight forward into your toes. Take the right hand to the ground and the left hand to the sky. So we're going to revolve. Take a deep breath in, energize this arm, and then exhale, twist eye gaze up, out or down. We're going to change sides now, left hand down. Deep breath in, exhale, right hand to the sky. And as always, if you're doing a posture and it doesn't feel too good looking up, you can look out or you can look down. Always, always listen to your body as you practice. Two hands down to the ground. Elongate your spine by coming up onto your fingertips. Eye gaze forwards, deep, deep breaths in. Bend your knees and pivot on your feet towards the top edge of your mat and step back into downward facing dog. From here, you're going to lift your left leg up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in and all the way up. You're going to bend at the knee. Then you're going to let the heel drop down towards the right bum cheek. Then press down into your hands. Lift your hips and hold the pose. If at any point you need to come back or drop down, please always, always respect where you're at. So every day we practice yoga, it's a different practice. The left leg and the left foot step forward outside the left hand. So the left hand and the left foot. Good. Drop the back knee down and just breathe here. Lifting the back knee, stepping back to downward facing dog. You're going to lift the right foot now. So deep breath, exhale, float up, lengthen the leg, and then bring the heel over towards the left bum cheek. Now lift through the knee, making space, watching for it collapse on one side. So 2 elbows up, and breathe. Okay, the right foot is going to step to the outer right hand. Take your time. If you need to assist or take 1 or 2 or 5 steps to get there, do it. Relax the back knee down. Let the hips move more forward now and settle. Lift your back knee, strengthen your arms and step back to downward facing dog. Float into a high plank, firm the muscles of your backside together and push down into the ground. Drop to your knees, coming down into half chaturanga. Take a deep breath in, push everything down and peel the heart up. Option to stay here, or you can come into upward facing dog. Stepping back now into downward facing dog. Look forward, right foot steps in between the hands. Left foot follows into a forward fold, head down, body down. Breathe out to close. Option to grasp the back of the calf muscles and start to straighten out the legs and bring the chest a little bit closer. You don't have to do this. If it feels a bit too intense, just back off the pose. Slide your hands to the front. Hand position is a yogi's choice. You're going to lengthen your spine, take your eye gaze forward, option here or here. Now you're going to sit back as if you're sitting into a chair and let your knees track forward. So a lot of the time when we do this, we see the upper body coming really flat. So pelvic tilt under slightly, and then let your knees come forward. So almost creating a ledge. Hands on hips, and just a little gap in between the feet. But if you've got lower back problems, go a little bit wider with the feet. Excuse me. Then lift the chest, relax your shoulders down, zip in your tummy, and remember, pelvic tilt under slightly. So don't let your pelvis be sticking out, so pelvic tilt under. That'll activate the lower core muscles. So you should be feeling this in your thighs, in the backside, in the calves, and also throughout your lat muscles at the back. Bring your hands into Namaste, prayer position at the heart. Steady your eye gaze and your focus on a point that's nice and still. And then exhale to a flat back, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then to a forward fold. Step back, right leg. Eye gaze forward. Deep breath in, right hand to the mat. Pivot to left knee, option to reach up. Or place your hand on your hip. Two hands to the mat. Now you're going to step forward into a forward fold. Let the head get heavy. Heel toes the feet in towards each other, just leaving enough of a gap, about a finger width, if not even a little bit less. Bend your knees, slide your hands to rest on the knees, pelvic tilt under, soften shoulders, push your heart forward, hands into prayer and breathe. If you're still with me, you're doing an amazing job. stand and come back down to this variation, please do. Deep breath in, flat back. Exhale, forward folds. Left leg steps way back. And then we gently place the left hand down into the mat and we pivot in towards the right knee. Top hand to the inside of your front foot. Pivot to the wide open edge of your mat. Exhale, slowly descend into a wide-legged forward fold. Crown the head down. Inhale, flatten your back. You're going to come to a surfer's lunge, Skandasana, right side, bending the knee, toes out slightly, and very mindfully now start to edge your way into the pose. If this is too deep, you can always remain high and just gently walking down and down and down. If you're struggling to get your heel down on one side or both sides, that's completely normal and it will open up eventually. And if it doesn't, you can use something to bridge the gap to encourage it down. Hands off the earth, it's going to feel more intense. So if you need to bring your body weight forward a little bit and put your hands down, it will decrease the intensity. Hands off the earth is going to increase the intensity. Now we're going to come through a wide-legged forward fold to get to the other side. So take your time, hands down, body weight forward slightly. Wide-legged forward fold, breathe out slowly, hinge down. Inhale and lengthen. We're going to pause here, let the blood settle. And then we're going to continue over to the other side into surfer's lunge, Skandasana. So bending down. Good. So on this side, my hip is quite tight. So I am going to just use this arm to compensate to bring my foot forward a little bit. You'll notice that it gets down a lot closer to the ground. So some days it goes down, some days it doesn't, just depending. So we're all built uniquely, and right to left will most likely differ all the time in everybody's beautiful bodies. So work to where you're at. Inhale the body weight forward slightly to assist you coming back up. And heel toe your feet in a little bit closer, toes out, heels in, bend your knees, place your hands on top and let your shoulders come up a little bit and sag down through the midline. Then re-engage your muscle groups by drawing your shoulders back and down and firmly pressing down into your heels. Take the left shoulder head to the midline as you look up towards the right edge or corner of a room that you're in, or the space, maybe the sky. Okay, deep breath in, exhale, pause and breathe out and sink. Shoulders up. We're just going to sway gently into our pelvis and re-engage. Firm feet lifting up And breathing out, right shoulder head, you're going to twist, so it's a spinal twist in towards the midline. Keep your arms nice and strong and look up towards the left. Coming back to the center, and we're gently going to heel toe our feet in, coming into a deep yogi squat, malasana. If here is enough for you, stop. If you can continue, think pelvis down and forward, elbows in towards the inner knees and knees in towards the elbows. Now watch, we're just sinking down into the joints. We want to push down to really activate every muscle group in the leg, from the heels to the calves, up through the knees to the thighs. Drop your eye gaze down and just breathe into this pose. And if it's too intense, please step out of the pose by just pushing your hands down into the ground, coming into a forward fold and rolling out of the pose. We're going to be here for a few breaths. Now to come out of the pose, we're going to bring ourselves up to one side, heel toe the feet in a little bit, and then we're going to just bring all of our body weight down towards the earth, to right side. Slide your bum towards the middle of your mat and just lay back, draw your two knees in and hug them in nice and tight. Rotate from side to side, lift your tailbone up and then down, just gently massaging into the tummy muscles, releasing the muscles of the lower back. Okay, right leg goes towards the sky and left foot down towards the ground. Take a breath in, exhale, slowly draw in towards you. And it's optional, you can slide up towards the calf and then you can extend the bottom leg, and if that doesn't feel too good, just rebend the knee and slide the hands back down. Keeping the extended leg very active, so making sure that the heel is pointing down towards the ground and the toes are up towards the sky. Now the same leg, you're going to draw across and you're going to bring it just below the knee. Option is to hold the back of the thigh, or you can hold on the shin bone. Whatever variation you choose, just rest the head back down and tuck the chin in ever so slightly. Whatever bind you're in, gently release it. Allow the foot to find the ground. The same leg now unhooks and goes along. Take a breath in and exhale. Just gently rub the front of the hip. Let this leg completely relax. Let the ankles soften, the toes soften. And then take your arms into cactus if that feels okay. And if not, you can bring them to crucifix out by the side. Tucking your shoulder blades under and just breathing into the length of the front leg. Bending the right leg, extending the left leg all the way up towards the sky. Remember the options, you can hold the back of the thigh or you can hold the calf. And then you can extend this leg nice and long. So whatever variation you choose, if you come into one and it doesn't feel good, just back off the pose. The same leg now is going to bend and come just below the opposite knee. Two variations, you can hold here or you can hold the shin. The shin is going to feel quite a bit more intense than the back of the thigh. So if you come here and it's too much for you this evening, just take the back of the thigh option. Releasing the bind, take the foot to the ground, extend the leg long and just use the heel of your hand to rub into that front hip. Then option with the arms again, splay out or come into cactus. Cactus is going to open up through the chest muscles and the shoulders a little bit more. Bending your two knees, you're going to come and rest fully on your side. You can use your bicep to rest your head on, and you're going to take the top leg, heel towards your backside, knee to knee, and you're going to press your hips forward, open down through the front thigh. You breathe in and breathe out, rest on your back. Take your elbows down, or your hands down towards the ground, lift your bum, slide your hands underneath, and I want you just to take your elbows underneath. You're going to lengthen your two legs and you're going to arch your back and allow the crown of the head to rest down into fish pose. So arch in the back and then crown the head down. Releasing the neck. Bend your knees, lift your pelvis and take the elbows out, lie flat, extending the two legs, and then you're just going to rest on the other side now, so coming right up onto your sides. Bring the heel up towards your bum, knee to knee, and then press your hips forward. So staying in that variation, I'm just going to spin around so that I'm facing you. Come into rest on your back, release the leg. Bending your two knees, you're going to lift your hips, slide them over to the right, gather your knees in and let them drop down towards the left. Open up through your arms and you're going to look in the opposite direction to your knees. Looking back towards your knees, support them now as you bring them back towards the midline. Straighten out your spine. Take a breath, take a moment, then lift the hips, slide them to the left and gather your knees in and drop them to the right. Now take your time. And then option again is to look in the opposite direction, or you can look up or you can look towards the same side as the knees. Bring the knees very mindfully now, assisting back to the center, feet to the earth, straighten out your pelvis. Hug your two knees in again towards the chest. You're going to take the soles of the feet up towards the sky, taking your hands to the inside of your knees. You can grip here on the little toe edge and then take the soles of the feet up and encourage your tailbone down to the ground into happy baby pose. If you can't reach your feet, you can always just use the leggings that you're wearing or grip the back of the calves. And when you're ready, take the soles of the feet down towards the ground. Curl up into bridge pose, taking your time doing so. So slowly tilt your pelvis up, push down into the ground. Move really slow for this bridge, releasing out your front hip flexors. And then slowly upper, mid, lower back comes down. Stretch out your legs to the opposite sides of each mat, so nice and wide. Take your arms up overhead to the opposite side of the corners, all four corners of the mat. So left, right, left, right. Big breath in, exhale, stretch, stretch, stretch till you can't stretch anymore. Exhale, go soft. Deep breath in, stretch, stretch, stretch till you can't stretch anymore, and go soft. Whenever you're ready, bring yourself into Shavasana, your resting pose. I'm going to encourage you to stay here for as long as you possibly can. So take your time, making yourself nice and comfortable. If you have a hair bobbin that's in or any restricted clothing, I do encourage you to loosen out your hair, etc., and any restricted clothing. Lay back in your most comfortable position, close down your eyes, and allow every muscle in your body to soften. Allow your eyes just to fall back in the head, your jaw to completely relax, your arms and your legs get nice and heavy. And I am going to leave you to rest in Shavasana. Minimum time that I recommend is 15 minutes. This is where the true magic of your practice will happen. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.